Reinforcing sounds by Kordsa.
Welcome to Reinforcing Sounds podcast by Kordsa. We are talking wide-ranging conversation on future of everything from tire and construction reinforcement to composite technologies in this channel. It's Aisha from Corporate Communication Department to moderate this episode. In this episode of Reinforcing Sounds, we will talk on the trends and developments in construction reinforcement technologies with Sebla, our account manager, and Tuluhan Ergin, project leader at Kordsa Construction Business Unit. Welcome you both. My first question is, what is reinforcement in construction and what is the function of it?
We start with a very good question, and let me answer it from a general point of view and then move to specifics. Mankind has been trying to create living spaces for itself since its existence. And when we classify the structures, we can see many types of structures from the past to the present, starting from masonry structures, wooden structures, and the most preferred reinforced concrete structures today. So, what do we expect from a building? I think the most popular answer is strength. And addition to strength, fit for purpose, aesthetic, built legally, economical, affordable, and now sustainable today. As civil engineers, we are trying to meet these expectations and to combine materials and techniques in the best way possible.
Sebla, I would like to add that under our wish, this building will be strength. I will try to say the structural element of the building, such as columns, beams, must be able to carry some loads and should be strong enough to face with the loads that have results as some forces such as tensile, shear, compressive, bending, and torsion. Some materials, such as rocks, concrete, stones, are good with shear and compressive forces, but not so good with tensile, for example. But on the other hand, wood, steel, carbon fiber are very good with tensile forces. So basically, we reinforce materials like rocks, concretes, and stones with the materials like wood, steel, and carbon fiber. As our structures become more complicated, higher, wider, uh, this become even more critical. And we design the building by considering all the factors it will meet. Reinforcement is essential for stronger, longer lasting structures. That's why today we see that mostly reinforced concrete structures are developing, steel structures are built.
Yes. And as Kratos, Ayşe, Kratos is the god of power in Greek mythology. And our aim is to increase the durability of the structures with synthetic fiber reinforcements that are first product group in the market. And now we are strengthening this motto with our new product group, Kratos Structural Reinforcement.
Yes. As you said, actually, housing is one of our most basic needs, and you said that we have met this need with different materials throughout the history. People spend their times in buildings mostly because as needs change, buildings need to adapt accordingly. In this context, how does the sector consider sustainability and sustainable materials?
Mm, well, speed of change is increased enormously in the 21st century, and it affects everything. Our homes, our cars, our way of communication. I mean, everything. Buildings are also included to that everything, definitely. So let's speak about buildings. The first thing you need to construct a building is that you should define the requirements. I mean, you should answer the question, why do you need this building? Uh, then architects and engineers start design a building according to the needs, and then eventually you have to construct it, right? I can roughly say that you need 6 months to 1 year for designing a moderate business purpose building, right, Sebla?
And also we need to consider minimum 18 months to 30 months for construction. And I assume that you don't have to wait for legal permissions and have an
Yes,
excellent cash flow.
yes.
Anyway, that makes roughly 3 years, right? And as engineers, we generally design that kind of building for 50 years of service time.
50 years of service time, absolutely. But nowadays, design requirements are changing 5 to 10 years. Can you believe that? I start for a purpose. I construct a building in 3 years, and in best way. And after I start to use it, my needs are changed because technology has changed. So we have to renovate even very, very young buildings.
Yeah, and for example, pandemic changed our lives, and it starts to change our offices and even our houses, right? So,
Yeah.
what if our loud cases have to change because we need to have, for example, a heavier machine in our building? And I have a good example for this, and we experienced it in Kordsa's headquarters in Istanbul.
All right.
If we cannot adapt the building for new load cases, and we have to build another one and demolish the old one. And
Oh,
yet it is also a solution, of course, but absolutely not a sustainable one. So, as engineers, we make some calculations for new load cases and reinforce the building structurally with different kind of materials. In Corsa's main building, we do it with carbon fiber reinforced polymers.
Uh, Sebla, I want to mention another case with new resource. Every year, we understand new things about nature of construction materials, nature of earthquakes, and even we develop stronger materials. So, time to time, known truths are changed. I mean, for example, 20 years ago, some calculations are or manufacturing methods are acceptable, but today we understand that those were wrong totally. But there are buildings that are built 20 years ago, right? So what should we do with them? Demolish and construct new one? I don't think so. In my
Yes.
opinion, we need to reinforce them.
I think this is one of the foundation of the sustainability approach you mentioned. We should not throw it away just because we do not use it or because it
Yeah,
doesn't meet our needs anymore.
absolutely.
There are works on constructing buildings with additive manufacturing in the future. What materials will the buildings be made of then? How will they be reinforced? What do you think about this?
Oh, wow. Well, that's an interesting question, Aisha. Thank you. Uh, Additive manufacturing is a hot topic for the most sectors. I mean, really most sectors, but it's still a little bit premature for construction sector. I think that yes, but why is that? Probably there are two reasons for that. First, the construction sector is known as a conservative sector for new technologies, especially in terms of manufacturing technologies. The second reason, most probably, in construction sector, you have to manufacture the product in its own location, and each product is unique. Even the product, I mean, buildings, right, are the same. Locations are different, which means that you have to deal with different manufacturing problems during the process. Anyway, of course, there are some researchers working in this area, and they generally are using ceramic-based matrices. I mean, concrete, of course. And I also know that some researchers are accomplished to produce a 3D printing material from construction waste. I mean, ruins of a demolished building. Can you believe that? It's really amazing, isn't it? I mean, anyway, whether the matrix is concrete or recycled material, it has to be reinforced with a ductile material because these materials are really brittle. But how to reinforce these materials? Probably aramid fibers or carbon fibers are good, but also very expensive answers for now. But maybe polymer-based materials can be a fine answer with moderate price nowadays. As I mentioned, we are also seeking other answers for that question with our solution partners.
I see. Maybe we want to use it in everything because 3D printers make it possible for us to do everything in a really quick way.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it's a good question to brainstorm. Let's think about it later. As I
Sure.
know, Quartz also works on innovative construction reinforcement technologies, and this team recently launched a structural reinforcement materials. You're simply making a bracing that ensures that the structures do not collapse. But it should not be as simple as I have stated. What is the technology behind this?
Yes, Ayşe, you are right. We announced our new carbon fiber reinforced polymer products for structural reinforcement at the end of May 2021. We simply call it Krotos structural reinforcement products, as Sebla mentioned before. There are four products in this product family. These are Krotos C fabric, Krotos prime resin, Krotos C plate, and Krotos adhesive. Kratos fabric is a fabric that woven from carbon fibers. We use it with its special epoxy resin, Kratos prime resin. So what we do, what do we do? We simply wrap the bearing elements of the building, I mean columns, shear walls, and beams with this fabric, and apply the resin on them. After a week, resin gets cured, and guess what? We now have shielded our building's bearing elements with one of the strongest materials in the world. So, what does it mean? Let me tell the story behind the mechanism simply. Ayşe, did you go to beach to play with sands in your childhood?
Yes, of course.
Uh, and did you play with sands?
Yes, I really like to play with sands and I make a castles.
Oh, I love to build castles too with sands. Uh, Maybe that's why I become a civil engineer.
Maybe.
Anyway, we had some little plastic baskets, right? And with little plastic shovels. So think about this. If you fill your little plastic basket with sands and turn it over and put it on the ground, you can step on your basket and it should carry you, right?
Yes, of course.
And if you take the basket out, do you think that only sand can carry you?
No, it will collapse.
Absolutely not. Sand cannot carry someone, it splits apart immediately. So, replace the sand with a concrete column and plastic basket with wrapped carbon reinforced polymer. That's the story. That story should tell the logic behind the structural reinforcement with carbon fiber reinforced polymers.
I got your point now.
Yeah. Tulu, yes, that's a really great story to understand the logic of the mechanism.
Thank you.
And also, addition to Kratos C fabric, we have Kratos C play and its binder Kratos adhesive. We use these products to reinforce slabs and beams. Kratos C plate is simply a strip made up of pultruded carbon fibers, and we adhere those strips to beams and slabs to reinforce them from outside. You don't need to break the slab or beam. It's a very easy and fast solution.
And I want to add something. Structural reinforcing of the old buildings absolutely saves lives. But there is no guarantee that it will save the building from any damage. Our main goal is to reinforce an old building and save the lives in it.
Actually, you do something really simple, look like that, but behind there's a really high technology, but a very simple mindset. But you make a really important job with that. Actually, I found that very amazing. Kratos offers many innovative solutions in this market, and I'm curious about your perspective while working on those projects and what kind of projects you're involved in. Do you think these kind of technologies will cause a paradigm shift or something?
Yeah, as Kratos, our point of view is to always focus on innovation and to predict the direction of construction industry in the world and to be a pioneer there. And the paradigm shift, it will surely create new paradigms and cause a paradigm shift. Then engineers and material scientists in a different country will find something new and paradigms will change again. And isn't that what's exciting in a way? And
I definitely agree with that. And also, I want to add that we always approach to create awareness and provide the best quality in terms of products and services. I don't know if it will cause any paradigm shift, but it definitely changed the construction market's dynamics. And Kordsa contributes to a sustainable future by offering more durable and practical reinforcement solutions for both infrastructure and superstructure projects in the construction industry.
yeah, as Kordsa, our biggest advantage is that we are a huge team that learns from each other, and rather than tire, composite, or construction. And we always approach it as reinforcement. And as reinforcers, we are always looking for something better than we do today.
Sebla, Tulu, thank you both for your participation and valuable ideas. See you at next episodes of Reinforcing Sounds.
Reinforcing Sounds by Kordsa.